was destined for greatness. True to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many ones that are so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
I'll give up everything, daunting if I can see my dream, make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything, want a reality.
Welcome everybody to another night in indie comics. Never a dull moment around here. We always have some stuff going on. Let's go ahead and bring in Mindy. Also want to apologize for little technical difficulties at the start there. Kind of had a little mess up with the queuing. I was streaming to one of the wrong services. So that's my fault. And there she goes, chugging coffee, trying to stay awake.
Yes, because I am tired.
Yes. So, yeah, we got a bunch of stuff going on. Found out some cool stuff today. Well, I don't know if it's cool. Depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Apparently, Merck and Black Ops Publishing is in the process of getting burnt to the ground right now, I guess.
It looked that way on the Twitter. On the Twitters.
On the Twitter's machine.
On the tweets and the Twitter's machine.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
it's very interesting. We actually made a post about it, or I made a post about it. Some big news is starting to break regarding Sean Hidachko, Merck, and Black Ops Publishing. It's been reported to us through an unnamed source who wishes to remain anonymous that Sean Hidachko is and has been using AI to write and rewrite scripts, specifically Power Hour 2, Power Hour 3, The Witch, and he's also using AI to create stories for his Black Ops line, reportedly. He's also owes comps to several of his employees that he still hasn't given out. And reportedly, this is also why several of his employees quit, including Aaron, Jason, Murphy, and Dolan, just to name a few. He seems to looks like he's assisted in paying everyone the bare minimum while he was out buying brand new trucks and Corvettes and football tickets. So yeah.
Wow. Well,
Wow.
and
Who
there's
would have
tweets
thought?
that go along with this that I saw today.
Yeah, that,
Uh,
and the Aaron I think that our unnamed source was referring to seems to have taken to Twitter to speak out, which was interesting. I can pull that up over here. This guy.
I always wondered what happened to Merck because they did sort of disperse, and I noticed a lot of late book comments on the campaign in and around that time. So
Let's see what he's got to say here. Let's see. My current feelings on most of the comic industry can be summed up by, as I often find myself doing, paraphrasing CM Punk: I'm sick, I'm old, I'm tired, and I work with fucking children. And I told you I was going to start burning it down today. Let's see. Catfight series was meant to be an exploration of a very dark and damaged female character, the most complex character piece I've ever written. And this is what they did with it. Presented it as garbage, the lowest common denominator smut. Oh,
I think that's a thread. That's the one I saw. Don't miss out on clicking it and reading the comments. I think there's two different threads.
Oh, in this one or this one?
I don't know. I
Top
think there's
or bottom?
different comments on each. I don't know. Okay. Click them. I don't know how the Twitters works very well. I just know I click things.
All right. So this here. That's why I'm determined to help indie creators get their books out. Let's see. All right. Well, I don't see nothing relevant really on that. Let's try this one. I spent my entire tenure at Merck, along with others I won't drag into this, that there were appropriate and thoroughly inappropriate ways to depict heroines, and it all ended up falling on deaf and dumb ears. I guess he's referring to Sean there. All right. Let's see what else he has to say.
Wait, that was some about Catfight up there. Those pencils are artwork there for Catfight, I believe. It's hard to read on the screen, but
art from Catfight #2, a book I was proud of right up until the moment Merck Publishing decided it would transition to straight up porn. I'd credit the artist, but I can't remember his name, and Merck can't be bothered to credit any creatives except the porn cover artists.
Oh, that's a burn.
That is.
I said before. Wow. So there may be some issues with crediting. Ooh, look at that fire. Look at that fire.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I really want to see that one tweet. I'm looking for it, and I don't seem to see it.
What was it? What tweet?
Hopefully it wasn't deleted.
Like I said, there's comments.
Oh, here it is. As long as unimaginative brohards can write scripts with Chat GPT and sell suckers the same book over and over with a new shiny porn cover, this particular con job ain't going anywhere.
I'm sending you okay.
That's kind of confirmation right there, somewhat of what we were told. by another source. And it's not Aaron. Our source is not Aaron. I can tell you that right now. And but he has worked with Merck in the past, and that's after this tweet was made is when he came to me and said, "Hey, I've got some stuff to tell you."
Well, doesn't
So this
Sean
kind of
and Shikari, they try to say they're the champions against AI, the champion in the fight
yeah.
against AI.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah, it's
funny.
always the ones that yell the loudest that are the most guilty, it seems.
It does seem
I don't know why that happens.
to throw off the scent, I think sometimes. And also maybe a
No.
guilty conscience. I don't know.
Brandon says, but sex sells, although I wouldn't even line a bird cage with Merc books. Yeah.
They go really heavy. The first it was kind of newer. I like there's Zombie Tramp and stuff that was really out there. And then there's some obscure titles I remember being a retailer seeing and stuff. But
Yeah.
Sean was the first one I saw that really did like I called it to myself Marvel and DC porn is what it was. 'Cause there's full
Yeah.
on penetration and
Mhm.
stuff in the for female
In the
to
books.
female at least in on the top of the
Mhm.
Kickstarter pages and stuff. So yeah. We don't do penetration.
No.
So we do
Black Hat
draw that line.
Cinephile says the title is Ethan Van Sciver. We'll call him Evan here. So Evan fools groupies that Malin's art beats Wheeler's using examples that show otherwise. It's up now. It took a couple of days longer than I thought because of the work.
Thank you. I can't wait to watch it. Thank you.
That's
I'm
funny.
excited.
Mindy's art does kick Malin's ass. I don't give a shit what anyone says. If you say otherwise, you're fucking wrong, dude. You're just wrong and you're blind. Mindy could whoop any of the CG King's ass, and I stand by that. I don't give a shit who it is. You put her up next to him side by side in a sketch off, she will whoop their ass. Any of them.
Thanks, Mike. Well, we were just talking today. I was watching David Finch. David Finch does all these YouTube videos of drawing, and I like to watch them. And finally, Mike was watching them with me, and I looked at him. I was like, "See, Ethan couldn't do that, though."
No.
Not that much of my thought process, even like we would just so happen to be talking about artists, and I was like, "This is what Ethan can't do. Someone in comparison to what David Finch can do. David Finch can just lay this stuff out. There's perspective. Go." But these CG guys, Rini is very talented. I saw that little draw off challenge. She surprised me. She was very good. She might
There's
intimidate
some
me a little bit, but not
this
Ethan
was
or
one of the
Malin.
screenshots that was sent, and we already saw that one, but this one I thought was funny. This was posted in, I guess, in a DM between a couple of people. Whenever we had a solid plan at Merc, but the gorilla thinks otherwise.
Oh, oh, that's a burn.
There's the gorilla right there.
That the gorilla, supposed gorilla. It would appear.
That's the supposed
Well,
gorilla.
Sean
I'm assuming.
takes the credit as the writer now. I believe. I don't know if he always was or what, if he was the editor, but that's where he
from what
inserts
I've
himself
seen
now, I think.
From what I've seen and heard, ChatGPT should be listed as the writer.
Hello, everybody.
Right? I mean,
right. Oh, I sent you another tweet that you missed there. There were two good ones that I saw Aaron do.
Ethan's not as good as he pretends to be either. Hello, doing. What's up, Suzanne? How are you?
Wow.
She says hi, Mindy.
Well, hello.
Ethan is bad at depth.
Yeah, there was and perspective and all of that. Like exactly what David Finch, and that's why I thought of it. What David Finch was showing was what Ethan totally lacks. And then we were talking about Jeff Johns, and we've talked to Jeff Johns about a situation years and years and years ago, and yeah. I don't know how much of that I want to say.
There's a
But
reason. There's a reason he names all the villains in his book after Ethan's kids.
and I didn't know he did that till recently. We share that in common a little bit, which is funny.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty funny.
yeah, it is pretty funny. I think there were some
Yeah.
page disputes, layout disputes. We were kind of Mike and I
Mhm.
were talking about stuff like that. And one reason someone might have layout disputes is that they can't draw it. And they're having issues. Because I've been having issues past 2 days trying to get this freaking monster right in this panel, and it's just been tricky. And sometimes pages are like that. And if you're David Finch, you don't have a problem with anything. I love his stuff. But if you don't have the experience, then maybe that's why you might go to a writer and be like, I don't want to draw it this way. And then that's maybe why you get fired. Just
Maybe,
throwing that out
maybe.
there. Maybe that would be a situation. Mm.
And see, I made Mindy promise that she would draw it exactly as I wrote it this time. So, now you have to.
It's true. But I'm still learning too, you know. I'm not a David Finch yet, by any means, but it just takes years and years of practice to get there. I'm on year, a few years in. He's on year 25 or 30, so I just drool at his stuff. But I'll get there if I keep practicing. I sent you 2 more tweets there, Mike, which are good that you missed
Oh, you
from
did?
Aaron.
Oh, okay, cool. I will take a look. What did he say if he wanted to come on and say what's up or what?
No, he doesn't want to come on right now. He
Okay.
busy.
I reached out to Aaron and I said, hey, it'd be cool if you'd like to come on and talk about, what went on and, your viewpoints on the book and stuff. We don't even have to talk about Sean. We can just talk about the book. And invitation's open if he wants to.
He says he'll be watching.
See, there's a window where Merc could have. Oh, yeah, there we go. Here we go.
That's a good tweet.
We'll share that. Let's get that up right there.
There you go.
Yeah, there was a window where Merc could have really been built into something where it could have been turned into a viable and interesting universe. Now I don't even know if the last of those books will ever come out, if backers will get them, or if the creatives will ever be paid.
Ooh, it's like the controversy of late books, but outside of CG. There's other people that did it too. Oh, I didn't see that one. Or well, yeah, I did, but I forget what it says. The collapse of Merc is an entirely different set of stupidity than the circumstances that Eric July describes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There was Merc.
there's a lot of comic companies that live by near porn covers, and by coincidence, the owners of the companies try everything they can to hide that they are the owners. Let's see. Yeah.
Without a face out there. That's interesting. I've not heard that one before.
Merc and Artist Elite both were fucked up before they had a chance to do something great.
It sort of falls in line with Dan Connors not objectifying. There was a comment down there like that. It's really interesting to see what people say, the market says, and it seems like people, they like sexy women, but they don't like necessarily just retardedly
The hardcore porn stuff.
Sexualized. Yeah. And like they actually want their female characters to have a personality and be a character while being sexy, as opposed to just being penetrated. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
But you guys actually want something tangible and a little bit more relatable. I think that's kind of cool. Actually.
Yeah, well, they want the adult covers, but they still want a good comic at the end of the day. They want the story. They want to be entertained. If it was just about buying porn, then they would go and they would, spend money on Playboy or Hustler or something.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that I noticed with Sean's content a long time ago. It was about a year ago when I first started paying more attention to it. Before the whole Margaret Robbie cover that I called him out on, and he got really mad. I went on, like, I happened upon their Whatnot a couple times and stuff, and it was just one DC and Wonder Woman porn cover after the next. It seemed like, really kind of. I mean, I guess it not was not all porn, but it was very nude and very just so much sexual stuff that I kind of thought that's all he does. That's his entire bread and butter.
Are you not entertained? We gave you vag. What more could you want?
Hey, it's just me. Where'd you go? Seems like their motto. Well, I always thought the Shikari covers were very like I talked to Dan Connor about this. They're just hyper sexual, and it's almost gross to me as a woman because it's, like, maxed out. Like, if the vag could have external muscles, Shikari would freaking pump that gauge in the blender program or in the whatever program it's called where you just, like, there's a slider and you give it more and more muscles, and I swear to God, I think that's what he's doing. He's just pumping up the muscles, and he would do it all, and it's just, like, freakishly gross in a way. It's super, super sexualized.
He should do a book called VD.
VD.
Dude, you might give me an idea because I like the crazy outlandish shit. That might be a good idea for a super villain, man. Call her VD. Oh, yeah, have
Super
her just
villain.
like shoot shit out. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Mm, I don't know. Funny enough, Mike and I are just about to release another title that is actually kid friendly.
Yeah,
You should wait. We should
yeah. I
wait
wish
to
I wish you
announce it
had
till I. I know.
I
I
wish you
need
had
the
the cover
lines.
colored so I could show it.
I know. I need the lines. Not yet, but soon.
Yeah.
But our business model is kind of like there is money in the cheesecake stuff and all of that sexy stuff. And so that's good
Yeah,
to
but
help
we're gonna do
support
other
us.
stuff too.
But yeah, we've always had the idea to do other stuff, but it depends on where it hits. Trip Story hit really hard at the show in Cleveland. It outsold
Yeah, man.
everything else.
I wouldn't have been able to have. I wouldn't have had money home if I didn't have Trip Story with me. Trip
Isn't
Story
that
made
funny?
that show,
And yet
and
it did the
it did
worst.
7,000 on Kickstarter. Did
Yeah.
7,000 on Kickstarter, but it sold out at Cleveland. Who would have thought?
And that was really cool because it's
You
a
know?
really awesome concept that we want to continue to develop. But there's the Kickstarter is a kind of sexual market. Yeah.
Don't give him any ideas. You know he's gonna be watching. Yeah, he's gonna watch. Yeah, he's
Mhm.
probably gonna be fucking flipping his table over here in about 2 seconds. Eric Larson did have that villain lady, Heavy Flow, that shot, yeah, as a weapon. I remember that. Yeah, Eric, I love Eric. Eric's one of my good friends in the industry.
Howdy.
I like Eric. Mike Peterson says,
Mhm.
"What's up?" I remember Heavy Flow. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Sorry, man. I love Eric. Eric's a good guy.
I like the punchy stuff that's unexpected and hits hard. So there are some things you should do, I would recommend to pay the bills, and some things that you can do, and you need to sort of balance both to be able to develop both. But, um,
Right.
yeah,
And we're also going to be branching out into the card game market this year. Check that out.
Mm.
We've got a
Mhm.
PvP card game that we're developing. Brandon has already seen it. Don't say nothing, Brandon. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that, and that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a tabletop game. It's PvP. It's kind of based on the Magic rules. If you've ever played Magic: The Gathering, it's like that, but cooler. Might even have some adult themed expansion packs. We'll talk about it. It's gonna be yeah, Brandon says it looks awesome. I know it does. It's gonna be fun.
So,
Yeah.
but yes, and I've been wanting to do games since 2018. I started drawing card deck in 2018. That's how long I've been
Mhm.
wanting to do that. Brandon says it looks awesome. Yes. It's gonna be fun. And I did that one card deck for Ultra Pro back in 2017, and ever since then, well, I mean, no, ever since forever, I've always liked board games, but tabletop games is a like whole other realm. I think it'll be fun though with our content because everybody can enjoy what we do on another
Yeah.
level.
And the
It's
book
gonna be
is gonna
tight.
entangle into the game. So,
There'll
and
be
also on all our Kickstarters going forward, we're going to start releasing for this property, we're going to start releasing hollow foil and collectible cards that you can only get on Kickstarter. So the only way you'll be able to get these cards to play the game, some of them will be if you back the Kickstarter. Fun stuff.
Yep. Oh, there's so many things we could do. This is truly a good job for us, Mike, though. We have a lot Mike has really good ideas like 5 times a day. He has these genius ideas. We have so many titles in the pipeline, and it's just a matter of time of when we can do them all. So, we work together well in that way. I had fun with
Mike
Virtue
says I had
Signal,
fun
the
with
card.
the virtue single. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds funny. Virtue Signal, the card game. You remember that Cards Against Humanity? That's a fun game.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, and I will
Yeah, it's
say
fun
an
as hell.
update on the Anna Zoe situation because many people have asked. Yes, she is not allowed at our table at C2E2, but we will be going. Woo! And we're, not going to talk to her either. That's a very no talking to each other. Stay away. And if she comes to our table, she will be escorted out because that is not there's professionalism in place that needs to happen. So, but we will be going and we will see you there. We already have people that are going to come see us. So I'm excited.
Yes. It's gonna be
Mhm.
fun. That's next weekend.
Mhm.
Wow, Chicago's next weekend. Man, it's
Yep.
gonna be a blast.
Yeah. Yep.
There's
I hope
so
it
many
becomes
people gonna be there.
yeah. I hope it becomes our show, in the show like between you and I that we do here because it is so local. And we don't really after Ohio, we sort of
Yeah,
said
well,
no
that
on the
and Fan
traveling.
Expo Chicago, because we're gonna be doing both of those, regardless every year. We're always gonna do Fan Expo Chicago and C2E2. So
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, that's the plan. Mhm. It's a card game
yeah,
where
I
you
was
play
I was
SJ
talking about, oh, it'd be so cool to do New York, but you know what? After doing Cleveland, dude, I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm too old,
So
man. I'm too old to be going to shows, and I just don't want to.
it's a lot of
Link
work.
me the event when you're done. What are you talking about?
Link you the event when you're done. Oh yeah, what event? I don't know.
Maybe he's talking about C2E2.
Hmm. Hmm. I want to see what G Busters is at right now.
Oh, we can do that. It's gonna be fun. Here
Ooh.
we go.
Ooh. Yay.
I'll
It's
uh,
it's gone up.
I'll kick it over. What we
Cool.
got? Oh,
Chicago.
it says 21,000. That's not right.
No,
There
no.
you go.
There you go.
23,800. Almost
Yes.
to 300 backers. Wow.
Yes. Very excited for this. Very excited.
Yeah. 24 grand. That's not bad. That's not a bad day's work.
No, it's not. We're we're off topic a little bit. The cat fight, I kind of wanted to discuss a little bit more now. That whole Merc thing was kind of interesting because there were so many publishers. I kind of wanted to pull that up. Merc magazine. Naughty. Here's
Yeah.
a Merc and Naughty and Nice crossover. So I wonder which books are not going to be delivered. He said the catfight books, huh?
I don't know. He wasn't specific in regards to that. He didn't say anything about that. He just said
Mm.
he wonders if they would even be finished. So it could be more books that are in the pipeline that he knows about. Um, I don't know. It's all speculation. I'd love him to get on and we could talk about it, but I guess he doesn't want to right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, big news. That's always something in the indie comics world. Always somebody doing some malicious shit, fucking grifting
uh,
around, you know. That's what they do.
Drifting
What they
around.
do.
Merc Magazine out of, Greenwood, Indiana. Independent comic creator with titles Miss Meow, Death Rage, and Born of Blood. Murphy Leduc. I don't know her. Are they done? Are they not producing anymore? It looks like they've got active stuff. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see when the last one was. A Summer Special 2023 was the last one. Last updated March 29th, 2024. But that's not the fight book. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I just know that Sean has a bunch of different companies, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, and
And
now
he
he's
was trying to
involved
call
in
me.
that tidal wave crap too, where they're sitting there and
Hmm.
doing biographies and stuff. Which you're allowed to do that. There's nothing wrong with it, but
He called it crap, but I don't think you mean it as crap. People
no,
don't.
it's crap. It's fucking crap.
They
It's straight up crap.
they're welcome to do whatever they want.
They
It looks
are,
like
but
it
it's still
sold
straight
well.
up crap. It's boring. Like, when's the last
Why do you
time you
think
have read a
so?
biography of anybody? Why do you care?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Usually I use
I find it
biographies
dumb.
for school.
You
You
know?
don't like
Yeah,
biographies?
for school, if you're doing research on somebody, so I mean, what's he gonna do? Put those in the public school system and let people like cite them as like when he's just basically taking a Wikipedia page and fucking copy pasting that shit because
Oh,
he's already into Chat GPT. All he has to do is sit there and take a Wikipedia page of Taylor Swift's biography, put it in here, put it in script format, boom, done. Oh, look, I just wrote a book. My name's Sean Hadashko.
I don't know if he actually wrote it or what.
Supposedly, if that's what he's really doing.
I don't know what his
But
involvement is with it, but Tidal Wave puts out a bunch of biographies and stuff. I don't really see them though.
he's involved
I
in it,
haven't.
so
Yeah, and I don't know in what capacity. I don't know that whole thing. But Tidal Wave is its whole separate thing. But like Sean said, he'll sell anything that sells, right? So are we very
can we just
surprised?
have an indie comic creator gladiator battle or two? That would be fun. But it has to take place at that one restaurant. Dude, what is it?
What one?
That restaurant, the Medieval Nights. Isn't that what it is? No,
Yeah,
Medieval
where you're an
Times.
actual medieval
The
times.
Medieval Times. Yes, we all get out there in a fucking ring in armor and swords and we just clank it out. I'm down for this. Mindy can be at the top. Off with their head. It'd be fantastic.
Yes, I'll be the queen. And
Yeah.
then I'll sit in that little throne box and people will fan me with fans while I eat a turkey leg. That sounds nice. Waffle House has
Waffle
better
House.
fights. That's true. Someone said I should get
This
into
is
a
very
slap
true.
duel with Niobe. They said at this point with all the YouTube videos back and forth, you should get into a slap fight. And he said they weren't productive.
With who? With who? We don't
Uh
mention that name on this show anymore. I don't even know who that
oh,
is.
okay. Oh yeah. Hmm. Well, I said I compared 4 years of hate videos to like the 5 times that we've ever streamed, and I was like, it's been productive on our end to reveal things, the truth in the midst of lies. But yeah, you're right. I don't even know
I
anything
don't even know
about
who
that
that was.
anymore. Just lost somebody. Don't know. got dusty. I think they got lost in the dust.
They did. They got
Oh no.
smoked. Rolled up like a California fatty. That's right.
Yep. It's interesting how many messages we've gotten recently. I know you've gotten some, like you say you get them all the time, but now I'm getting them too, of people saying thank you for like sticking up to people and revealing
Yeah.
more of the inner workings of what goes on.
Well, and that's a lot of what these people do. They sit there and they hide what goes on behind the scenes to people, and they've shamed the talent to perpetuate this because you have to. They've made it. They put it out there that you have to maintain a modicum of professionalism, and you're supposed to shut up and take it, and not say anything bad about anybody, and so on and so forth, over and over. Same thing with these guys. That's all they want to do. And they pull the curtain over the people's eyes to where the people that look like they're responding to something, that they're the ones causing the problems. And then you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So you don't know how stupid things can be. And like that EVS shit just recently, that was a big example of that. How he said, "Oh, I was canceled from C2E2." No, you fucking weren't. You fucked your contract. That's what you did. And people don't. Well, what do you mean? He said he was canceled. He said he was harassed. By who? By when? Where's the email that says he was harassed? There's no email. And that's what they do. They sit there and they pull it over your eyes. So they create this narrative to bait you into sitting there and sticking up for people that don't even deserve it. And that sucks.
Sorry, I'm chatting.
JD Kirby says you are very, very talented. I think JD loves Kirby.
You. JD, I love you too, JD.
Mike Peterson says check the G Busters backer list Saturday nights. Okay, we definitely will.
Awesome, we will. Yeah, we're one backer away from 300. We've given away 2 prizes now, and then we announced some.
Yeah, the next backer gets another prize, the 300 prize. Ooh. I wonder what I'll give them.
We really need to go get that.
We're almost close to the double up reward.
Double up.
Yeah, remember I said I'd give one away when they doubled up too?
No, I don't remember. That sounds familiar. Yeah. But
it was the beating day 1 award, and then there was another one that was going to be the double up award.
Oh. Well, I don't remember, but I'm going to share my screen because so I can show the stretch goals that we just announced. And then I'm excited for when we reach
the level I'm where 300, can you do Gerard Butler impressions? I don't even know any Gerard Butler impressions.
Can you see my screen of this fantastic monster sticker that I drew?
Oh, yeah, here. Add to stage.
Yay.
Hey, look at that monster sticker.
So slimy. At 15K, it's our stretch goal, so you get it for free. And then we also have these connecting covers. That was, I call it a collaboration between Revolve and I, because Revolve did the women and I colored it, and then I had an epiphany and I said, what if there's a monster mouth? And so that is what we did. We made a monster mouth cover. So these are to buy. These are not for free, but it costs us money to have multiple covers. So it had to be a stretch goal. Yoink.
Oh, look who just joined us, Mr. Aaron. Aaron, welcome. If you want to hop on, you are more than welcome to, sir. I would love to talk to you about some of this crap. And it can be as much or as little as you want. We could keep it to the books. We don't even have to mention people's names. Whatever you would like. There's the link if you want to join in. Says, I will never finish
Mm.
the last issue of Catfight. There was also 2 additional Born of Blood series in development and several issues done of the second Miss Meow series. Wow.
So it sounded like from the tweets, Aaron, I mean, I'm talking to you, but you don't have to answer, but that you said it started one way, right? And then it seemed like there was a like a creative development process, and then it went a totally different direction. So that's something as publishers that Mike and I want to not ever do, at least if something is going to be pretty sexy, to be forward about it in the very beginning. And I don't think we've ever
Right.
failed at that. Mike always has like a very clear idea from the beginning, and he's like, this is it. And then it's just been that way. So
And I also have
yeah.
like set rules in place, like no penetration, no porn. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be working with other writers eventually, but we like to take things slow and steady too, because when you grow too fast, you can make stupid head mistakes. Um, and I don't think Sean's the sharpest
Or you
crayon in
can
the
go
box.
out and buy new Corvettes and trucks.
And then screw over your employees who have been sitting there waiting.
And then screw over your employees. Yeah, you could do that too.
That's not very nice. Some people, when they get money,
No.
they go crazy, and they
do. You know what they
can't
call that?
contain
Nouveau
themselves.
riche. That's an
Nouveau
actual term.
riche.
It's called nouveau riche. Yes, they're
New
very,
money.
very incapable when it comes to money. They don't know how to. They don't know how to handle it. That's the same thing with you get all these truck drivers and stuff. And then they're like they see how much money you can make on their own, and then they go straight to owning their own company, and they have no idea how to run their company, and then they end up cratering in the dirt within the first 6 weeks, and the FMCSA revokes their authority because they don't know what they're doing. You can't just go at it and expect to be a professional right off the bat. When people are handed that much money and responsibility that quickly, it always turns bad.
It's like giving a
I've been
child
lucky
candy.
to where, yeah, I'm not in a place where I can jump in, sadly. Well, you can do it from your phone too, bud. You can click that link and it will go on your phone, and you don't have to be on camera. You could just do a call in. You know what I mean?
Like the old radio shows where we call you up,
Yeah.
where the
Yeah, it
DJs
works.
are
All you
all
gotta do is click on that
ding ding.
link, and you cut your camera off and you just talk. That's it, bud.
That's what all good bosses do. And here's another thing too, that when you do run operations with large amounts of money, which Sean was bragging on his Instagram like a year or two ago. He's like, we made $20 million between this company and this
And I
company and this
don't
company and this
believe
company and
I
this company
don't
and this
believe
company and this company. And
no.
that's what he said. He made like $1 million on Whatnot and several million on his website and $1 million here or 20 million, whatever. It was like a lot of
I don't
millions.
believe that.
And when we
I don't
first
believe that.
met Sean in 2017, he was having a hard time making it. Which is why
He
I think
was
he kind of got into
he
what
was
he did with
basically
all the
homeless, sleeping or getting showers at the local YMCA.
yeah, and we
And
could
there's nothing
relate
wrong
because
with
we
that.
were
He worked his
we were
ass off. He worked his ass off getting
mhm.
what he's got. I'm not going to take nothing away from him, but when it comes to big deals, big finances, I don't see that he has that much experience in regards to that. I've run multiple businesses over my lifetime, from
Mhm.
IT companies to trucking companies to now this company. So I mean, I'm very well versed in what it takes.
Yes, and I've learned a lot from you, Mike. Hey Baz,
What's up,
when I
Baz?
was
Good to see you, brother.
calling out the um hey when I was calling out the Margaret Robbie, that I thought it was a violation of celebrity likeness, and I think it was, and those covers mysteriously disappeared after that, and then they re-released it two more times, but as a different cover, and I was all, oh snap, Mindy was right. But that's just my opinion. That's Sure was going with
Well,
that. Oh, Sean
from
was
one of
all
his
mad. he was all mad, and then he was trying to say that I was stupid. I didn't know how to run a company, and he was like, yeah, well, I got this company, that company, that company, this company, that company. And I was like, why? So you can have tax write-offs because you just contract that company to that company. And I think that, and then I kind of stopped talking because he didn't realize that I knew anything about that stuff or taxes or business law. And then he was like, he was calling me stupid straight up. He's like, you're just a stupid little girl, doesn't know anything about business. And I was like, why? So you can discount this and you can take this as a deduction and all that bullshit. Yeah, like I know a little bit.
Right.
And then I don't think he
That's
ever
right.
responded. He just
That's
went off
called
and he cried
funneling.
on his own Facebook. Yeah, yeah, and that's what criminal organizations do too, to a certain extent. Not saying that he is one,
No, there's
but you
perfectly
can.
legal. There's perfectly legal
Well, there
organizations
are
that do it
perfectly.
too. If you pay
Well, yeah,
the
tons of
government a
them.
dime, you're doing it wrong. I can
Yeah,
tell you
the
right
thing
now.
about
If you're paying the
thing about
government any money in taxes, you're doing it wrong.
That's true. That's true. Well, it was just I mentioned that because it was like it was weird to me how he had all the same products. So he was selling all the same things, but under like 5 different publishing companies. So that was just interesting. I can't say anything. I'm not him. I don't know his operations or anything, but I'm not a complete idiot either. But in like trucking, they'll do that. There'll be like one brokering company, and they also run trucking, and they also run maintenance, and they also sell tires, and they also have dispatchers, and they also are drivers. So I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing.
It is like you take KLM for instance, the Duck Brothers. They own Discount Tire and 3 other tire companies. Guess what? They also own KLM, a trucking company that uses all of their tires.
Mm-hmm. CR England's the
And then
same
they
way.
also own a reefer repair place that services all of their reefers. And then they also lease their trucks and they charge the people who get breakdowns and trucking maintenance. They charge the people who are paying for those trucks maintenance on top of those trucks to keep their mechanics paid. Oh, yeah, it's a thing.
I remember, I think it was CR England
Oh,
had
we
this
have a
new.
guest. We have a
Oh, okay.
guest. He did decide to show up. I'm very happy about
Ooh,
this. I've
yay!
got something for him. Hang on.
Little pig, let me in.
Welcome, Aaron.
I also would have accepted Warriors come out to play. Hi
That's
guys.
fun.
I don't know exactly how this happened, but apparently I dropped a pipe bomb today.
Yeah, you did. I saw that. I saw you sitting in the ring by yourself. The mic was on the ground.
I
And
just
I
let me
chuckled.
I mean, let me tell you what happened. I got tired of people asking me when that fight was coming out, when Cat was coming out, and having to say I have no idea. I'm not involved anymore. Haven't been there for months and months and months. Don't even talk to anybody there anymore. No clue. And then today I got somebody who asked me, "Hey, is this your cat fight book? Like, is this a porn comic?" And they sent me the cover image that I posted, and I just like oh. I just reacted.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? This is unbelievable. I can't believe that this is what they're putting out. We've had more than one discussion about this. And then, I went over and I looked, and when I saw that the artist name wasn't even credited for the interior pages, they're selling a preview for a book that I know that's a series that will never be finished, at least not by me. And they're selling a preview of it. I got to the point where I was like, they're just ripping people off, in my opinion. And so I put out the tweet just saying like, hey, I kind of have to disavow this. I'm sorry, guys. I was really excited about this book. I think it was probably one of the best things I've ever written. It's certainly the darkest story that I'd ever written. I was really excited for it to come out, but I don't know if you're ever going to see it, and certainly not in its entirety, not as it was intended. And this was not my intention for the material. So, and apparently that kicked open a hornet's nest. So.
Usually does
Crazy.
when you speak your opinion online.
So
Anybody.
there's one tweet in particular that you made in regards to AI and stuff. Would you care to comment on that, or are you just gonna kind of stay away from that for now?
No, I'm absolutely happy to comment on that. You can tell from there's filters that you can run on things that'll show you whether or not it's AI generated. There's press releases that are AI generated. There's script stuff that you can tell is AI generated, and I happen to know that I don't. I just happen to know that once all this technology came into play, it was very attractive to no longer want to pay writers or no longer want to pay creatives to work on any of the books. I know that from being the editor in chief there for a time, that it was getting harder and harder to convince the powers that be that we needed to hire good creative because, well, you could just do it. You just feed it into this. And so, I have no.
I like that impression. Who is that an impression of?
I do voices. I do voices. Every now and then I'll break into.
Okay. All right.
But and this is just look. This is not an exclusive thing to Sean. Every publisher out there is looking to cut out creative people, and so why right. It's not surprising. I'm certainly not singling that out. It's happening to all of us. But as an editor who has always fought for, his creators to get a fair deal, to get a fair shake, to get fair pay, and always advocated for the customer and for the customer to get a quality product and for them to be treated well by the publishers and by the creatives. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with the industry in general. And I was particularly fed up with this idea that you can just keep putting out the same book over and over again instead of actually building something and paying creatives. You can just pay them once and then never pay them again and just slap some porn covers on some things and just keep selling that same book to the same group of perverts over and over again. And listen, I have no problem with sex comics. I have no problem with nudity. I have no problem with any of that. What I have a problem with is this cynical kind of, especially when you get into, can we talk about the cosplay covers for a moment? Where you're essentially just ripping off other people's IP, in a way that okay, so you guys have a book where you have an actual cosplay hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's called Boobs. Yes.
Yeah, it's baked into the premise.
He is a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you're doing Miss Meow, who it's my job to try to build this character into an actual heroine and to tell heroic stories and to build this universe. And then I'm having to deal with people asking me why, why she's dressed as Poison Ivy, but is nude on the cover. And, why am I involved in this IP theft kind of thing? That starts to wear on you after a while.
Right. Well, it's from a professional standpoint. I mean, other professionals in the industry that actually have to create things, they kind of start looking at you sideways in regards to that.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
And it gets to a point where it's going to hurt the, maybe it's best that it's just the same books over and over again, because it will get to the point where it'll hurt the creatives involved, where the actual IP holders of these properties, Capcom is going to be hey, didn't you work on that book where they did all those, covers with Cammy, our character in lewd situations, and that's eventually going to bleed over. And there's been C&Ds sent. There's all kinds of stories out there. Companies will eventually start cracking down on it. I'm actually sorry that they don't crack down on it more, because I think it's pretty disgusting that you have to bite off of someone else's IP to and present their characters in that way in order to get attention for your books, when you could just be working on the quality.
When it comes to parody, I think there's a right way and then there's a wrong way to do it. When you're straight up ripping off someone else's stuff, I think that's the wrong way. But if you take a concept and you construct an all new character base for it, and you develop that into kind of your own branch of the property, I think that there's room for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't think there's room for just ripping straight off. We've got a book on Kickstarter right now called G Busters, right? Based on a very well-known property, but it's a parody in the fact that all of the characters are fresh characters. They're all created in their own right. All of the villains, all of the concepts, all of the story arcs, everything is created all in its own right, completely separate from anything that had to do with that other property.
Yeah, and even if you were doing a straight up parody, like you like for example, I know the guys over at World Class Bullshitters, and they're doing Woke Busters. So they're essentially taking
Yeah.
the Ghostbusters. Yeah, they're taking the Ghostbusters concept and they're applying it to to the woke. And it's just it's obviously a parody. It obviously bites off of Ghostbusters, but it's different enough that it's not just a straight up ripoff.
Right.
If you're doing, I had a friend in the industry. She did a book where it was she wanted to do a book where it was about like kind of like all of her fandoms. So she created an avatar character that enjoys all these fandoms and things like that. And the one note that I gave her, I said, like, I think you should start the book off this way, like all of the things that she loves, be it Doctor Who, be it Star Wars, whatever whatever it is that you're a fan of. I said, but then you should take the character in a way that it kind of branches off into her own. She starts creating her own things, and then it's more of an inspirational story for little girls that are reading it. And that was like one of the notes that I gave. So there's definitely a place for parody. What I don't like is I don't like just straight up ripoffs. There's no reason that Miss Meow would be cosplaying as Poison Ivy with her vagina out. That's not part of the character as written. And so I think it's disgusting. And as Merck started to move that way, where it was like, hey, we're going to do like these double impact, which is basically like turns out I didn't remember double impact from the 90s the way that I thought I did. Turns out it's straight up porn. As they started to move in that direction, it was like, okay, well, clearly the work is drying up, and I'm certainly not going to work on these books. So that was I didn't quit as much as the work dried up, and I wasn't interested in any of the new work that they were going to be doing because I wasn't going to do porn.
And the thing that sickened me the most was the Wednesday Addams stuff.
That was based on Jenna Ortega, right? While she was underage. I did hear about that controversy. I wasn't at the company anymore at the time, but I did have some people ask me about that. And that's the problem, is having been tangentially connected to the company at one point, as they continue to move in this direction, you keep getting messages about it. Like, are you involved in this? And it's like, no, I had no idea. Haven't been involved in a long time.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking up Double Impact and interesting. Yeah, I remember I saw that on Jamie Tyndall's Facebook page. It was an announcement, and I thought it read really poorly. It said, we have some great news. A year ago, Ricky Calero's brother or something passed away in a car accident. So we're taking the property, and it read just like that. I was like, ooh, that they need a writer.
Well, I mean, I feel like ChatGPT probably could have done that for them.
It's
probably
really
did.
Good news, and then a death in the next sentence, and then continue with "we're taking the property." I was like, "Oh God, that's a horrible way to say that." I think they're in need of a writer, Aaron, a real writer.
Well, those are expensive. Apparently, too expensive.
No.
Listen. I will say this. I actually really like Jamie as a person. I really had a good time working with Jamie. Jamie is a very kind, a very generous guy in my experience. There's probably, like with any of us, there's probably other people out there that say differently, but that's my experience with Jamie. It's just a shame to me because I think Jamie gives up too much of his ideas to people like that don't deserve to be in on them and who ultimately derail them. Because Jamie is kind of an idea machine, and I just wish that he could find some people who serve him better.
I think once you kind of go that route, that's the thing is, like Mike was saying, people sort of start looking at you sideways, and there's some words I can say. Those probably aren't I don't want to be mean about it, but you sort of ostracize yourself. And that's been something in the industry for a long time. If you ever do any kind of like porn stuff. Then DC and Marvel tend to not want to touch you, stuff like that. And I hear it all the time that artists, they go, "Oh, I think I got a shot at the big two, so I can't do that stuff anymore," and they tend to separate. So there is that exists in the industry, a sort of stigma. So yeah, I wish the best for all involved. But I think as far as Sean goes, he is so far into the stuff that's just what he does. I'm not sure if he has much of a customer base doing anything else. Like
That
I
may be
don't know.
very true. I mean, that may be very true, and that's why, at least while I was there, and we had the Merck team that was there. We had Murphy, who I saw on the stream. You said that you're not familiar with her. Murphy is absolutely fantastic. She was the heart and soul of that company. I said on Twitter that she is the one person that Merck could not afford to lose. Any of the rest of us could have been gone, but Murphy was the absolute soul of that company, and cared about the customers, and cared about the characters, and cared about the stories, and she could have kept it going, and without any of us. And unfortunately, she too eventually decided that her fate was better elsewhere, and she's doing really great. She runs a company called Crowd Control. She helps people with their campaigns, their Kickstarters. She's just like a one-stop shop, taking everything that she did for Merck and doing it for independent people. So, so proud of her and for what she's accomplished. Absolutely love Murphy. I'm really good friends with Dolan, Drew, who wrote Born of Blood. Really good friends with Joe Corallo, who was.
Oh, we
Did you
might have
cut
lost
out?
him.
Your mic cut off there, Aaron.
Okay.
It's a bad spotty connection.
Oh, no good, no good. But
Oh,
anyway,
there you go. Now you're back.
You're back.
Okay. So, the team that was
Really good
assembled
friends
there,
with Joe.
yeah, so really good friends with Drew.
Drew.
I've met a ton of great people through there, different artists and whatnot. So overall, a very positive experience at Merck, but none of that had to do with any of the pub planning, which seemed to change from week to week. There's a reason that we joked and we called the company Mercurial, because it seemed like every week there was some shifting wind that would send Sean in some new direction about, no, that thing that you've been working on, we're going to cancel that, or we're going to postpone that, and we're going to do this new thing over here. And then, so we'd start working on that thing, and then 2 weeks later that'd be done.
So
Impossible.
I'm guessing that's kind of where this might have come from. Aaron, you cut out again.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can still hear and see you guys.
Okay, cool. Now I can hear you. Is that where this one came from? But the gorilla says otherwise.
Yeah, that's absolutely. It always felt like you were getting punched in the back of the head. And look, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, your company is your company. When you're hired on as an employee, you're hired on to execute company directives. I get all that. I understand it. But I also don't understand why you hire people who have been in the business, who have been successful in the business, who know what they're doing, and then you don't listen to them or don't take their advice. I don't understand that at all. So, and unfortunately, that seems to happen a lot. It seems like a lot of publishers are just, just people that think that they know everything, despite the fact that, sometimes they're just people who fell ass backwards into a successful business plan, and then suddenly think that everything that they do is going to turn to gold. And so they make mistakes that many other publishers have made, that many of the people who work for them have seen made and recommend against, and yet they continue to push forward with it. It's just it's the nature of this business, and it's a large part of why I don't really want to work for publishers anymore. I don't want to be an editor at a publisher. I don't want to be an editor in chief at a publisher ever again. I would rather just be a freelance editor that helps independent people put out the best version of their stories, because I really feel that the independent market is where this is going. unfortunately about had Pistor's
You're cutting out a
suicide.
little bit. You're
Okay.
cutting out a little bit, but I think you were saying that the independent comics area is where this industry is heading, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be the viable place for this to survive, and I think that it needs to be led by creative people who actually care about comics, who actually care about the books, and who aren't just in here like carpetbaggers looking to make a quick buck.
Hmm.
I agree.
I agree too. It's going to take a lot of creativity. And there's a question I was going to ask on the note of quick growth, because there's definitely been quick growth from struggling to pay bills to millions of dollars, and then I've seen artists like Shikari come in and then other artists sort of leave in the Sean sphere, I'll call it. So you said that there's a lot of changing directions of the wind. Was that new business relationships coming in, like behind the scenes, and spurts of growth, that maybe would affect those decisions of the creative titles, input from elsewhere? Or was it just an internal thing that it was a indecisive sort of thing?
Yeah, there was a lot of indecisiveness or a lot of like hardline decisiveness that would be completely contradicted, like a week or 2 weeks later. Um, it just became really hard to pub plan anything because if you're doing a line of comics, you have to do it a good year out. Like you have to know where you're going to be in a year. So as an editor, you're always living in the past, present, and future. The past is putting the trades together for the books you've already done. The present is the books you're working on now, and the future is developing the books that you're going to be doing in the future, and getting all that laid out and trying to keep that timeline consistent. And that's what we were trying to do. And for a while, we were really cracking on all cylinders, until as long as there was a distraction to keep Sean from getting too involved, everything ran fine. But if he had any time to come get involved in the creative process, you were cooked. It was done. It was going to be just an absolute nightmare to navigate. That was my experience. Unfortunately, there's people that think that they're creative and they're really not. But they want to be involved in that because they want to put their name on things so they can say, "Look what I created," even though maybe they only contributed a name or said that name sucks, don't use that name. But suddenly they're like a creator on it. It's just it's narcissism and it's ego, and it's, to a certain extent, I understand that there's a certain amount of ego that's necessary to succeed. You got to believe in yourself, but yeah, it just it became impossible to navigate and to manage, and was frustrating more than it was fun, and it didn't have to be that way.
Mindy's question was a little bit more vague than mine. Mine's going to be very direct. Did you ever hear the name Nick Barucci thrown around?
Oh yeah, I heard Nick's name thrown around a lot.
Yeah, was that someone that had any influence behind the scenes? Yes or no?
Well, it depends. It depends on whether or not Nick did something that looked exciting that week. So it was like one week, the person to listen to was who's Coffin Comics, the creator of Lady Death. His name escapes me right now.
Yeah.
Brian Pulido.
Brian Pulido,
Yeah.
thank you. 1 minute, Brian Pulido was the biggest genius in the world. We need to do exactly what Brian Pulido's doing. Then the next week, Nick Barucci's doing this. We need to do what Nick Barucci's doing. It was ever shifting, ever changing. That like there was multiple companies formed and dissolved while I was there from Legends Publishing, which we all said was a bad idea from the beginning, but the next thing we knew, we were doing it. And then that fell apart just like we said it would. And then now on to Black Ops, and now we're gonna do all these books that are porn parodies of Scooby Doo and whatnot. And it was like, okay, well, I'm not working on that. It's just always what's the next thing that's going to generate $100,000. Well, we generated a lot of campaigns that were $100,000 or more. I don't know where any of that money ever went, because it certainly did not get put back into the company as far as I could tell. It always seemed to just kind of like disappear or get shifted over to another company to pay for some other initiative. It's like, oh, Merck's not making any money. Well, how is that possible? because
That's
you know,
interesting.
yeah, it's like, how is that possible? Because we've made all this money. Oh, but there's no money in the account. Well, where did the money go?
And then there was an issue of non-payment between you and other creatives, you said.
Yeah, there's stuff that I didn't at the very end of my tenure there, when I was just like, I'm done and I'm never doing anything here again. It was work that had been turned in, and then the rate was trying to be renegotiated after the fact. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Just give me this, and then I'm walking away, and then we're all done. We're all done here. And here's the thing about me, and I think that most people who've worked with me long term will tell you this. I am extremely loyal to people that are loyal to me. But if you screw me over, then I have no reason to ever sugarcoat anything about you to anybody else. And so that's the situation. That's the situation that I find myself in here. Is I've been quiet for a long time about this, but I just got tired of getting messaged about books that I feel like are never going to see the light of day. And like people complaining to me about like, hey, this book that you wrote, I bought this preview. Where is it? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
How long ago what's the longest, like, what time frames are we talking about in lateness on these books?
I don't know, because I haven't paid particular attention, but I will say that if I'm not mistaken, Catfight 2 was basically finished as I think maybe all the way through colors, at least through inks, last July. And I don't think that we're past the preview. I don't think the previews of Catfight #1 have shipped, but they keep getting sold with new covers.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't know that they were selling the same book with different covers.
Yeah, that's his whole bread and butter. That's all he's been doing. He
I didn't know
slaps
that.
different covers on the same interiors over and over again. The dude's like fucking Marat Michaels.
Well, where I saw that idea, besides Marat doing that, is Dynamite. That's what they were doing with all the Vampirella covers in 2020. They were just swapping out. When I did my Vampirella cover, I said I wanted to do a retail variant, new interiors, and they didn't listen. And they just put my cover on and other interiors, the same interiors.
I mean, I guess that's how you have to make money in comics now. The sad thing is that no, I don't either, because you're not giving the customer anything new.
Yeah. That's
if
not
it's a hot
preferred
book,
way.
like if it's a hot book that like you got a continuing series going, and you're like on issue 8, and people are like, man, I'm so sorry I missed #1, and you're like, well, we're gonna put #1 back out with a special cover. I get that. That's serving your audience.
Yeah.
But like, can you tell me that people are knocking themselves out for another cover of Power Hour #1?
No, not that I've seen. No.
And so when we did our Boobs 2 campaign, we did a reprint of Boobs #1, and then we changed the cover slightly, but it was basically the same cover art, but we put that back out there, and that sold like hotcakes. People loved it. Second print.
Limited second printing. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we came out with Boobs, we also had nothing to lose, and we were like, let's go with a bang.
Oh yeah, dude.
Boobs. It's meant
We
to be
slam
obnoxiously
everybody in the
offensive.
industry in that book. That book
Yeah,
is our slam dunk.
We're true to having a very unique perspective with that book, which is something I personally didn't see with Sean, and that's where he and I butted heads last year, because the Margaret Robbie cover, the thing with parodies is you're not supposed to make it look exactly like the original product.
And that shit was like to a T.
Sustainable, though.
And with celebrity likeness laws, you're not supposed to make it look like Shikari's work looks like a photograph, and that's what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to steal somebody's likeness in a photorealistic way like that, where it's going to be mistaken as the actual person. So between that and a Barbie cover on a it was a Miss Meow cosplay cover, I was like, this is all bullshit. Was my take on it.
Remember how pissed off?
Ridiculous.
Remember how pissed off Sean got when we were saying Shikari was using AI? Remember that?
Yeah, that I thought he was. I always said I thought he was.
No,
There's no way to actually know.
I still think he is. I don't give a shit. I'll say it. I still think he is. And because I offered him, I said, I'll give you $10,000 right now if you get on a live stream and you draw a cover for me. I got it in the bank. I'll show you the account. I got it right here. I'll send you the 10K right now. You draw live. Ship it back to me. He said, oh, and then I found out, oh, he's in India. Oh, okay. All right. Well, it still stands. I'll convert it to rubles. No problem. PayPal works in India too. And he still wouldn't do it. He said, hey, I didn't hold a pencil in 14 years. That's what he said. Now, how can somebody that doesn't hold a pencil in 14 years draw covers like that?
I guess maybe a process on your Wacom, whatever. But like, what's the process then? Show the process.
That's right. And then he does have a Facebook group to where he shows the process, but it always jumps from A to C. He never shows B. And then it goes from C to F. It doesn't show D or E.
Yeah, I was never convinced that was
you can
the
tell if
actual
you're a trained artist,
drawing
this
process.
shit. You can say, hey, this is missing in this process. I'm not stupid. I can tell. I can see it's missing. Now, if now you're saying that, or well, I'm not saying you're saying it, but it's been reported now that Sean's been into AI. How much more of a confirmation do you think that makes? Now, I'm not asking you, Aaron. I'm asking Mindy. My claims on Shikari using that shit.
Well, if one person doesn't care that they're using it, why would they care if the artist was using it? So,
and here we go.
There's a saying that I have with some friends that comes up a lot when talking about comics and certain personalities, and it would be weird if they weren't. So if you've got somebody who has a reputation for cutting corners, has a reputation for wanting to hoard as much money as possible for themselves, and there's a shortcut to be taken, it would be weird if they weren't taking that shortcut.
Right, because where's the integrity? Yeah, and that's where that was another critique.
Oh yeah, here you go. JD was right there when I did it. Yep, I remember that. Mike offered him 10K cash fucking money.
Sean was saying the way Sean was marketing the book, so on top of them having exact likeness and not being having a transformative factor, which you need for a legal parody, it was Barbie in a Barbie box. The actual actress that played Barbie dressed up as Barbie. There's no transformative factor. On top of that, these things were being advertised by Sean as being drawn digitally, I think were the words used, and then drawn from scratch. That I just don't think was accurate. So it seemed dishonest to me. That's what I confronted him about. And he was very aggressively upset and
there's a
didn't take
very
that information
similar
well.
Jenny Ortega STL file that you can go download that has the hand and everything.
You can download every single Shikari face that he uses of the celebrities. You can just Google, download Scarlett Johansson, download the Wonder Woman actress, download Jenny Ortega, download what's another one he used? The Star Wars Rey, Daisy Ridley. You can download all their faces on Sketchfab for free most of the time.
Yeah, see, and that's something that I don't, I don't have any respect for. As somebody in the creative field, but again, you're not dealing with somebody that respects the creative process. You're not dealing with a creative. You're dealing with somebody who is just pumping out content right. to sell to divorced dentists who have expendable income, and will eventually look at this big several long boxes of comics they have of Shikari covers and go, why do I have all this? Why do I have all this vague same looking covers of like a half body with veins superimposed over the boobs and like a celebrity's face pasted to it? Why did I buy all this?
Yeah, and the boob enlarged, and I found the download for that, the 3D, because Shikari is attributed in many Instagram posts and accounts as a 3D video game designer, and that's what he is. So I kind of wonder if Sean didn't because he's saying they were drawn, but I think that would have been too taboo to reveal whenever Shikari started working for him that, hey, we have a 3D video game designer from India working on these covers. I think it would have been a little taboo to come out right out and say that, because that was really new in the industry. I don't think it'd been done at the time, and people would have said, oh, well, this is just video game art. It's not actually drawn. So then, I'd found out through doing a little bit more research on Shikari himself, apart from Sean, that he's a 3D video game designer. And all these like design accounts are showing, here's the featured designer of the week, Shikari. And I looked at the software and I looked at the programs, and you can download the boob packs, the expansion boobs, and the muscles is on a slider. So I mean, I personally don't think they're hand drawn at all. So that gave
Yeah, you
me
just select a part of the body, and then there's a slider, and you just move it, and it increases the size back and forth. And you can do that with everything, even their clothing, to make the like the girders and stuff tight, like he does, to where the skin's kind of overlapping and it's being squoze. Like you can do all of that in Sketchfab.
well.
So
Yeah, so that oh, go ahead.
so you guys are you guys feel like it's just like a series of like video game sliders where you're designing your own character, and then maybe
Correct.
some filters and things
Yeah.
thrown over it a little bit.
He's
Yeah.
using 3D gaming animation models and all that stuff, like Unreal Engine. What's the other one?
I know
3D
there's one I
Mark,
keep
I
forgetting.
think.
And the tutorial that I did see, that was like 49 posts long or something on the Shikari's group. It was about him painting black pores over the skin. And the
Yeah,
only
we get the
reason
pore
I would
brushes for you
think
too.
that you yeah, we found a brush set. We were doing some research on brush sets, and the only reason you need to paint black pores, which I'm pretty sure I have the same brush set now, and I don't even use it, is to cover up, in my opinion, that 3D effect. Because when you render out a 3D character out of the Blender or whatever it is, you can kind of tell they're 3D. But if you take the black pores and you kind of just like brush it on and you do these skin textures, then it looks like a real person. With the, the pores that Shikari does of the skin pores and how they're shiny and they're black. So to me, that looks like a way to make it look real, but it's probably being rendered out of the program, if I were to guess, and it looks very 3D. So you go over it with like that, and then you do some Photoshop, because I can see the Photoshop like liquefy tool and stuff in some spots, or Photoshop mistakes, and then maybe even some AI effects on top, something like that. That's what I think his process is. But he won't show it. And Sean went to bat in the same breath as he was calling me stupid, a stupid girl for not knowing anything about business. He said that we're supposed to trust his 24 years as a Marine recruiter, and that is what we need to base it off of, to believe that Shikari is drawing this from scratch, as
Oh, I
opposed to
remember.
His
I
integrity
remember
of
that post.
lying for the federal government for however many years.
I remember that post. I think it's. I always think it's interesting when someone tries to point to military service or a job that they did as sort of some sort of calling card for their moral virtue.
There you go. That's what it
always,
is.
That's always interesting to me. Having been on the inside, I can say that I don't find that to I don't find that to be true.
No, it's not.
But like I said, loyalty is everything, and if you're loyal to the people that are loyal to you, then you're owed that back. But I don't feel any loyalty at all, and so you can take
there's a term in the military that's used for people like Sean, and it's called pogue.
Okay, I don't know that term, but
it means person on guard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't do shit. He just sits there.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, man, what a day this has turned
Very
out.
pogue.
very pogue of you. Well, and see, the thing that was just all red flags too about that whole conversation was it's so easy nowadays for artists to show their video process, especially if they're a digital painter. I mean, it takes 5 seconds. You go on StreamYard, you have a free account, you hit live and share screen. If you do it on a computer or my iPad, it tracks everything. I can export the entire video process of every file, and it shows my progress. So Shikari was saying, and Sean, and they both really like went to bat and hunkered down and said, no, we will never ever show video evidence of it just because I was asking. We will never do it based on Sean's military experience or whatever. That's what you should believe. But yet, taking the time to make a post of 49 screenshots and giving them all captions is very time consuming and can be misleading.
Ask
So
the guys that were part of Artist Elite how they feel about Sean's 24 years of military service and whether or not that means that you should trust him.
I definitely will.
I
actually
find
know
that
those
to be-
guys.
that actually angers me because it impugns the reputation of so many of our military to try to use that to cover up the fact that don't get me started.
yeah, it doesn't make sense as to why. It's not even him I was asking. I was asking Shikari. So automatically that just doesn't make sense at all. I'm a recruiter, so trust this guy in India. How do you even trust this guy in India? You can't see him. Do you sit there and watch him draw this
Well,
sacred
I'm just telling you
evidence?
from what I know of having worked there, if it wasn't an issue where you would have other artists that you're working with say, I'm not going to work with you because we are against AI art of any kind. If it weren't for that fact, I don't believe that Sean would have any moral problem using AI art at all. I think it's just a matter of perspective and it's a matter of relationships that he's come out so hard against AI art. I don't believe that there is a moral belief there. I just don't. And I could be wrong. That could just be me reading into it, but it just doesn't jibe with the person that I worked with.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I've noticed some people do. There's even Kickstarters dedicated that people, because Kickstarter asks now, but I find that they do not get a lot of support. And not the ones I've seen. They've just been just totally tanking. Maybe there's some that do, but I just don't think the creative people support just fully generated AI content. It's
I think it's
not a popular thing.
I think it's a decent enough tool. Like I've used AI art to communicate to an artist kind of like what I want. Like I'll put some elements in and then I'll say something akin to this, but you just hand it to the artist to kind of give them an idea of where your mind is going. And to me, it's not much different than when I used to just collect different images of different characters and say like, okay, see this design here, and then this here, and these gloves and this hair, kind of like you would give them pieces so that they could kind of like put it together. But it always goes to an artist to, every character that's in Kneel Before Doomface is design. They're not AI. They're AI designed. They're designed by artists. I would never want to move away from that. I don't, but if you're that sort of person, at least be upfront about it. At least be out there and say, I use AI for this, or I use AI for that, or this cover's generated by AI. This artist uses AI. Don't try to sugarcoat it and pretend like you're a champion of not using it, because I know for a fact that you are a taker of shortcuts. And so, like I said, just knowing that, it would be weird if they weren't using
it.
Cool.
That's a good point.
Well, thanks for coming on, Aaron. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah. I know we've taken up a lot of your time. I don't want to keep you all night.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the invite. I appreciate the chance to clear the air. Obviously, this blew up more than I thought it would. But I just kind of wanted to let people know that hey, I'm not responsible for the things that are going on over there. I'm not responsible for your late books. I'm not responsible for you not getting things that you've paid for, and I'm not responsible for the covers that are being put on these things. So I appreciate
that's what I was going to ask you was the last words to clear the air, and then what you did anticipate for a cat fight. You're saying you don't endorse any of that kind of direction that it went. So, do you have any other plans for your own stuff to actually do what you wanted to do instead of the porn stuff?
Yeah, like I said, I've moved away from working for publishers. At least on stuff that's original. I'll still take a licensed gig now and then if it's something that I'm interested in. But for the most part, I like working on independent books. I'm doing a book with Wes Azadani and Aurelio Mazzara, who worked on Born of Blood with Dolan. We're doing a book
Nice.
called Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's a survival horror story set during the Crusades, featuring
Ooh,
some Muslim heroes. I'm doing a book with Art to Bear, volume 3 of his Black and White series, co-writing that with him. We just had a great creative meeting today. And then, of course, I'm working on a couple other things that I don't think I can announce yet, like from different creators, but I will talk about as they get closer to being finished. And then working on launching Kneel Before Doomface with Renzo Rodriguez, which is kind of my own creator-owned book that I'm really excited about, and I think that people will really enjoy, because a lot of it is a lot of the premise is, what if becoming a superhero was like trying to break into the comic book industry?
Awesome. That sounds
nice.
great, man. So where can people find you and get a hold of you and
Exciting.
stuff?
I'm on Twitter as Aaron_Sparrow. You can find me on Instagram, Aaron Sparrow.
Sweet.
Cool.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are the 2 places. And then check us out on Saturday mornings. We do Comic Aficionados over on the Thinking Critical YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Cool, man.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks for
thanks for
coming
coming on. I
Aaron.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice meeting you guys. Thanks for reaching out.
nice
care.
meeting you too.
All right, bye.
Take care. Wow, that was good.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
like
It sounds like he's
interesting
got
things and
a lot
interesting
of really
people.
exciting projects coming up.
Yeah.
What that sounded like, his stuff, Brotherhood of Wolf and the Black and White, and
Yeah. That
I don't
one
think
other
there was
thing I wanted to bring up. Where was it?
yeah.
Oh yeah, this one.
Oh.
Dear parents and guardians, we would like to inform you of a lesson that will be taught in your child's classroom. The lesson goals are to help students share and explore pronouns through discussion and literature, to embrace differences and promote acceptance. During this lesson, students will listen to the book They, She, He, Me, Free to Be. That is a lot of prepositions and not even a title or a sentence, but all right. And participate in discussion about the book. Practice using pronouns they, them, and what to do if we make a mistake with pronouns. Learn that it's not okay to change someone's pronouns on purpose, and to always try to use the pronouns that people want to be called. We will be teaching this lesson in the next few weeks. The lesson and discussions will be taught and led by your child's classroom teacher and our school social worker. If you wish to review the lesson content in more depth, please contact the school principal by 418. Or if you wish to have your child excused from participating in this lesson, please complete, sign, and submit the attached exemption form to the school by no later than 4/18/24.
I'm going to try to repeat what I said earlier that you said was so funny. So if I was a parent and this was given to my kid, I'd take them out of school that day before the date of that lesson even being taught. The instant I got this in my hands, I would drive to that school and I'd get there and I'd talk to that principal and I'd say, "Hey, I just took an Uber. It took me a while to get here because they asked what direction I was going, and I said they, then that way, this left, right, and up, and we had to figure it out. Then I got here and I said, can I talk to your principal? They, then he hit her, and they didn't know which one you were. You finally came out. We figured out it was you." And I'm here to tell you to F up, left, right, up, down, all over which way. You can decide which direction you want to fuck off. And I don't want to offend you. So you go ahead and choose. You tell me which one you prefer. And my kid's leaving today. Goodbye. Because we need to know things, tangible things, like what things are. And if we don't know what those things are, and if we teach kids to be so confused they can't even tell anybody what they are, we're going to be
Or
in a
how
world
many of them
change.
are there?
Or how many of them are there, or who they are, what they are, who they are talking to, what direction they're going. Obviously, it's not the straight direction. It's going in multiple different directions here. We need to pick one and stick with it. Because my kid's not going to even know what to order, tell me what they want to eat anymore. You want juice? Oh, you mean milk, water, juice? Apple? That's what you want? Oh, it's just ridiculous. I've been so mad at the public school system for years before all of this. And it's because I was so mad and I caught on to it so early that we've homeschooled for so long that I dodged all of this bullshit. This has not ever been a part of our children's lives at all because I pulled them out way before any of this, before it got this bad. So parents, I'm looking at you. Homeschool, you need some help with homeschool or some resources, feel free to hit me up because I've been doing it now for a long time. And it's not that hard. It's not, especially when you're dealing with kids that don't even know pronouns and think paper straws are dangerous. Like in California and math is racist. It's not very hard to like teach them anything that's more on a better level than that. So go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was on or I went to Cleveland this weekend, and this was the first show that I have done in how many years?
Oh, it's been a long time. Well, we tried to do that one show in Iowa and they had no air conditioning and I had food poisoning. We had to leave. And they had no elevators. It was awful.
Yeah, well, but we didn't do it. So, like, how many years since
Yeah,
we've done an actual show, like all 3 days or 4 days or whatever it was?
2017, Florida.
2017, Florida. Okay. So that was the first show that I've done since 2017, Florida.
Or Indianapolis. We probably did Indianapolis. Motor City after that. It was in the same month.
And the entire show, a lot of it, I'm guessing probably around 60% of it was this.
He looks very dressed up that day. He's ready to party. Beard and all. Party with the pantyhose.
Yeah.
That looks just like something someone from my high school would wear, like a 15-year-old girl.
That was my experience in Cleveland. And Theo, who was with me, who has done all the Comic-Cons with us, our oldest kid.
Yeah.
He's 14 now, and he was with us from the start when we first started doing these shows. And he looked at me and he said, "Dad, what's happened?"
What happened?
He said, "These things used to be cool. Now they're just guys in dresses."
I didn't know you said that.
And I was like, "Theo, I don't have the words, bud, but you know when your mom says you can't watch that show on TV, this is what she's keeping you from seeing."
See, our kids haven't been exposed.
He said, "Oh yeah, mom, yeah, I don't want to see that."
They did used to be cool. They did.
They did.
And there was always that what happened? The world has changed. Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy. There used to be that oddball 1 or 2, people at the shows. JD Kirby says, "What the fuck is that?" There's even more
Yeah.
pictures he sent me, and I was, "Oh, wow."
That's not even half of it, JD. Like it gets worse. Like there was the chick next to us was selling crocheted gender conforming turtles and buttons and or not buttons, turtles and
Non-conforming.
chickens
The very
and cow. Yeah, gender
you mis
non-conforming.
you misconformed them.
There you go. That's what she was selling. And this was her customer that looked like almost exactly like her. Hang on, I'll find it.
I
Yeah.
gotta take care of a baby for a second, so you're on your own for a minute.
And then, yeah. So, yeah, it's, oh, yeah. And then there's that one. Yeah. So, yeah, that was my experience in Cleveland. Cleveland was interesting.
I have so much I could say, I just have to wait to say it because 'cause I'm helping the kids. Hang on.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, it's a different world, man. It's a different world we live in now, and I'm not sure I like it much. That's why I said, I don't even want to do shows anymore. I would rather just stay home at this point.
Disavow.
Disavow, disavow.
Well, like I
Fucking
said,
leave.
there were those oddballs back in the day where they were just, like, people that were really weird that were obviously, like,
Yeah,
way on drugs or something, and Mike and I used to poke fun of them at the show.
yeah.
You remember the
I
guy with the
convinced
bird
this
in his
one dude to put a
pocket?
bird in his pocket, and he was weird. I was like, "Yeah, dude." He comes up to me with a bird, and he's sitting there petting it, and I'm like, "That's a nice bird you've got." He said, "Yeah, I
He was
know.
dressed
It's
like
my
the
favorite."
crow with the crow,
Yeah,
and
he
he
said
was
it was his favorite. I
so
was like,
high.
"No." I said, "But hey, guess what? You know what? You probably shouldn't let that thing fly off. You should probably put it in your pocket so it doesn't go anywhere." And he said, "You're right." And he stuck it in his pocket. He's like, "It's safe now." Yeah. I don't go to cons anymore. Yeah, you're not missing much. It's all suspect at this point.
Okay, I missed it. I missed it. Guy with the bird in his pocket. There was another guy that I remember. There was also these people were like on drugs bad, and he had a fanny pack. And in his fanny pack, he had this huge wad of cash. And he was so strung out or something. And he was like trying to buy stuff, but he couldn't coordinate his hands very well. So he would just he'd open his pack and the cash was spilling out all over the floor. And he was like, "Can I buy this?" And he was handing people cash. And I think he bought something for me. I was like, "Yeah." And so gave him the print, and that's when I noticed that his cash was just, like, spilling out, and he was just kept on walking. It's crazy.
You just bumped your mic. You got cut off.
Yeah, the kids are here. They're
Oh,
leaving.
there you go. Says yes, but in the 16th century, if you weren't wearing a wig and makeup as a man, you had no social status. Otherwise, you're a peasant.
I won't let the bed bugs bite, they said. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. It's weird. So, I remember, when that same kiddo who's now 14, when he was about 6, I started noticing it, and that's when I took him out of school in kindergarten. Um, and it was really obvious the school system was trash because he would come home with the same homework multiple days, and I was like, "You just did this." He's all, "Yeah, they don't they're busy with the other kids. They don't have anything to do, so they just give us the same thing." And I was okay. And so I went in to investigate and found all kinds of problems. They even lost a kid, and it would just I could just go on and on. This is a subject I shouldn't get on because I could just go on forever, but it was just horrible, and I was all, "What the hell are you all doing?" And I pulled him
Yeah.
out pretty quickly. And then I went to the library and I started taking up homeschool myself. And I went to go find Black Beauty or Black Stallion, that book. And I went to the kids section, and there was a book on meth with pictures of how to make it. There was a book on Hillary Clinton and Obama. So there's like all kinds of political bias talking about biographies for the kids in like the kindergarten section. I was like, what the hell? No other candidates, just those guys. And then there was a book on like Justin Bieber. And that was what I could check out. That was like, that's a
Well,
good
see, as a
metaphor
kid,
for the
that's all
entire
you
section.
need. You just need to know who the liberals are, Justin Bieber, and how to make meth, and you're going to be fine in life.
You're fine. I guess they want you to go home and cook. It had pictures, Mike. It was a picture book. Like, those hardcovers that are like this big that you would take home when we were kids. It was all about tigers and stuff. I'd read the dinosaur ones. I'd look at all the facts. I'd try to memorize the facts. It was about how to cook meth. It was called meth. The spine was METH, meth. And I've never, ever, ever gone, trusted the school since. And I've tried schools a couple times. I've looked into them, and it's just been as big of a horror story as ever. It's just getting worse. Now they have to sign a social media release to even they don't even have physical homework anymore. They go in and they're on a screen and they're watching videos of each other when they're in the same room, and their homework is to comment and like the videos and then go home and take videos of themselves talking about those other people's videos. They don't even write with a pencil. This situation gets me worked up. It's ridiculous. And that's why we have stupid people now. And now they're going to teach them that he, who, he, her, he, that, they, them.
It is dinner time. It's time to go.
Yeah, we should go.
You guys take care. Buckle up, drive safe out there.
Backers. We're at 301 backers on G-Busters.
Oh, we're at 301. Oh, I got to see it go up. Hang on.
The
Damn.
iPad generation. And it's funny because the stats
I just saw it go up. Hang on.
That digital learning is a regression.
Bam.
But big tech got involved anyways and started forcing it in on all the schools. They don't even use textbooks. I called an old school and I said, "Do you have the textbooks you used 20 years ago?" They go, "I don't even know what textbooks we use. We don't even have a record, and we got rid of all of them." I couldn't tell you.
301 backers, $23,881.
27 days to go. Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Well, that's it from us. If you haven't backed G-Busters, make sure you go do so. You can find us at divinitycomics.com. You can find us at comicsillustrated.com. Take care of yourself. And as always, hell the motherfucking chat.